Hey, it's Caleb with Custom Shop. We're back with another Peak44 build of the month. And we're doing something a little bit different this month, so come along and we'll look. So I got a 22-inch 7 PRC barrel. We're gonna do another directional brakes. I think they look cool. Neural thread cap if you prefer that sort of a look. What's neat about the 307s is you can do different bolt handles. We can choose that one if we want. We can choose this one if we want to. Pretty common thread for bolt handles, so a lot of them should just thread on right there. We're going to do a BDL style bottom metal, and I got a stock being made for us in the stocks department right now, so that'll be a little surprise a little bit later on. But what we wanted to focus on, a lot of comments on the last video, I saw a few that focused on blueprinting. So if you want to come over, we'll talk a little more about that and focus in on what you can do with a Model 307 builder's action at home. We'll talk about a little more advanced stuff as well. So with your action, you get your builder's action out of the box from Weatherby. It'll be Cerakoted, everything will be put together. You're just ready to put a barrel on and go. There's a little pin that's pressed into the bottom of the Model 307 that locates your recoil lug. So the most advanced thing you could possibly do is face the front of your receiver. And what you do is, if you have a lathe and this tool here, this mandrel, it'll screw into your receiver threads. You go all the way in, and you would chuck this up in your lathe that everybody has laying around at home and put it between centers so you know it's absolutely straight as possible. And you could face off to do a facing cut, which would cut off just a slight bit on the front of your receiver to make sure that's perpendicular to your axis of bore and axis of where your bolt is. So when your barrel threads in, eventually it'll go in and be 100% parallel with your receiver. From what I found with the 307s, they're very, very straight to begin with, and it's not absolutely necessary. Something that would have to be done though at a gunsmith or someone who has a lathe that has the mandrels, that sort of a thing. One thing you can do is, I like this particular size of lap, is I can go in and I can lap our receiver rails where your bolt's going to glide. It's just the perfect size to get in and kind of hone, even out surface. You could do the same thing with like a wood block and some 400 grit sandpaper if you needed to, or 600 grit. Probably all you'd really need. And this part's, take your time. Really get Bob Ross with it and have a happy little time. And I'll do the top side as well. Try and keep everything even and flat if you possibly can. So before you head space, if you want to do it, you need to lap your lugs. You don't have to. 307s come out. Again, they're very close from the factory. You really don't need to, but if you want to, the option's there. So lapping your lugs is you're making your receiver locking lugs, which is the surface down inside here, right there, and then right there, and then the back end of your bolt lug, there and there. Those are the surfaces that actually hold the gun locked in battery and hold the pressure of the gun firing. So 7 PRCs, around 65,000 PSI, so that holds all that pressure in your receiver and in your bolt and makes the bullet go that way and nothing else come back at the shooter. That's kind of an important part. So they're going to go in contact. So when your bolt comes in, it's going to come in, and when you turn it, it locks up and makes those two surfaces so they made up and can't unlock. It's absolutely an important part. So what you want to do by lapping it, we're going to put a little valve grinding compound down on those surfaces and then put pressure back against the bolt and then move it back and forth, sort of like that. And that will blend those two surfaces in perfectly. Just like if you're a motorhead, you're lapping your valve stems in on your heads, exact same process. That helps your motor seal up better, that helps this gun seal up better, same thing. You can just pull rearward on your bolt handle and kind of go a little slower. It takes a little more time. You don't need to do a whole lot, but some is good. So I'll take this, put this in the vise, and I just use about a 240 grit valve grinding compound, available from most large firearm supply stores if you need it. It doesn't take much. A little dab generally does just fine. It is really, really messy, so wear gloves if you don't like getting that stuff on your hands. If it's a finished product, like your builder's action is going to be, this will take off Cerakote, this will take off a little of the finish, so be sure you're going to refinish it after you're done. It'll take a little finish off the bolt head as well, but if it's something you want to do, you should go ahead and do it. And we're just going to do this for a few minutes. Now the best way I've found to get valve grinding compound out is brake cleaner. So now to check how well you lap your lug and how much lug contact surface you want, your really goal is above 80%. 90-95 is better, and it's measured by eyeball. But you take this Daka, which is a layout compound, you can use a candle or a lighter to soot up the back of your bolt lugs. I'm gonna do is paint them blue a little bit and get them dried off. And you run your bolt into your action. I'm not even going to use that. We'll rotate it through its full motion. Oh yeah. So you can see that surface is disturbed all the way on that side and nearly all the way to the tip on that side. I'd say that bolt's perfectly fine and good to go. So what we'll do, go down and get it head spaced. We already covered head spacing in our last video, so we won't go too far into detail with that, but make sure you do that, and the most critical part you can possibly do. So we'll go to that station and then send this off to paint. So again, our most important part here is making sure that this doesn't close on a no-go gauge, but it does close on our go gauge. Green for go, red for no. And that'll set your bolt distance to the chamber perfectly every time, and you won't have an issue. Make sure we're in. About 80 foot-pounds of torque. That one is set to 80. Hey, Caleb again. Through the magic of television and the internet anyway, we have our build of the month done for Peak44. So we got our Cerakote done, nice, this is Sig Dark Gray in there, and then we have, let's have a sniper green on the floor plates, and we even did a little black infill on the floor plate. You can see that nice right there. Sort of something special and pretty.
Let me know what Paul says.
So a few little trick things. We did green screws and a Sig Dark Gray bottom metal with a green floor plate just to throw it off a little bit and be something completely different. Bolt knob is different color than the handle. We did our DST brake collar a different color. It's just special, why not? So we'll just go ahead and get right into the assembly, and that's all we got to do. So one of the prime features of the Model 307 is this quick takedown bolt feature. So your bolt handle and knob, you can go in there and you want to insert your firing pin assembly into your cocking piece. Should stick in your notch there at the bottom. You just push down, and the bolt handle should insert and retains the whole thing. And then we'll do our two little trigger pins. Let's get those started a little bit. Almost there. There. Make sure our pins are all the way through both sides. Yep, there you go. This time you can actually test your trigger. Safe, does the fire. Yep, good to go. So now you can see all that little honing and blueprinting work. This slides back and forth really nice and smooth. That's what you're getting by putting a little bit more work on the front end towards the back end. That's where it really pays off, and you start to see that right here on the back end. There. It's on there nicely. All right, the fun part, now we can put our spring under our follower. Just slide right on there. Spring goes under your floor plate. It actually goes under a little tab on there. Should go on under this little tab on there. There we go. Okay. And now we can see how this looks in the stock. So Peak44 did us really good. They got us a really nice, cool looking stock back here. Should complement our colors nicely. So our mag box, your mag box should fit into the little recess that's in the receiver right there. And then your stock should go over the top of it. Of course, we're going to bed this with some Accubrake glass a little bit later on, but we're just checking there and test fitting, making sure everything goes in there just right. Bottom metal fits down in there. 307s are a T25 action screw. You should use what it is that you're going to get with your stock and your bottom metal. So that might vary depending on your particular build. I'd say that looks pretty awesome. Some of our 7 PRC dummies. The bolt in, make sure that runs. That looks like it feeds really nice. The last thing here we're going to do is put our Peak44 Jrail with 20 minutes of elevation built into it, so it's a little bit set up for more long-range application than a 0 MOA would be. You can still shoot short distances, but this just gives you your scope 20 minutes of extra elevation to be able to make those adjustments for really long ranges. That on there. Spec on these is 18 inch-pounds. You can over tighten them, so don't do it. They are 840 screws. If you want to use a different base, the 307 is a Savage Stiller style base. Check your bolt, make sure your bolt still runs, because sometimes some bases your scope screws will be too long and it'll actually block the function of your bolt. So if you add a scope and then your bolt doesn't work anymore, maybe check your scope screws. Pro tip, happens all the time. Happens to everybody. So glass bedding is it's a fiberglass resin that we put on guns. There's a lot of different ones out there. Accubrake glass is one of my favorites by Brownell. It's very easy to use. And all it really does, what we're doing, is we're making sure that your rifle sets back in your stock the same place each time if you take it on and off for cleaning. The other thing is on Peak44 stocks, that's your recoil lug area, that's your recoil lug. It's required for strength right here. So you do have to glass bed every Peak44 stock. Their Peak44 bedding kits are available at peak44.com. If you want to get one with your stock, it's a good idea to do so. Most of your local gunsmiths will also be very equipped to handle glass bedding. So we're going to do that. We're going to mix up a little bit. What I like about Accubrake glass, it's a 50-50 mix by eyeball. It's very easy to use. Just tighten down your action screws. They don't have to be tight. Just make sure that they're nice and snug so nothing moves at the end of your bedding job. Flip her over, make sure your barrel channel is nice and centered, nothing squished over the edge. And then you let that wait for 24 hours before you can shoot it. So we're gonna do that. Oh, so we're already done in the range. We got this ready to go. I got my new Mark IV HD on there that we use for accuracy testing. And it's a really nice scope. Everyone should have one at least. And we're gonna go ahead and shoot this and see how she does. What are you shooting? We're gonna do the 177 Hammer Customs and the 7 PRC that are Weatherby factory cartridges. You can get those at weatherby.com if you want. I know hammers shoot generally really well, so it's a good starting point and sort of an easy button. So we just finished up the range. This rifle shot a .62 and 0.62 inch group, so it's ready to go. Likes to hammer 177 grain bullets, so now you know what to shoot with it. It's a Model 307 and 7 PRC with a DST brake, a Peak44 Bastion stock on it. It's gonna be a really great rifle for whatever you want to do with it. If you want to know more about Peak44 products, check out Peak44.com. We're on Peak44 on YouTube, so check us out. We're going to do a little more as we go along. Thanks.